Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Simple Art for Adults. My name is Erin, and today, as you can probably guess by the title of this video, we're going to be talking about a subject that is slightly controversial among a lot of people, to say the very least. Essentially, what we're going to be talking about is how to get started with coloring on a budget, or if you've been coloring for a while and you're ready to make the move to artist grade supplies and just to kind of, level up from your Crayolas or Crazy Arts, where should you start and how can you save money and how can you not spend a small fortune. So this is just something I thought that I would talk about for a little bit. And as I talk, I'm going to be coloring this image I've been working in Twilight Garden by Maria Troll. Once I finish this, I'm going to be doing kind of like a little tutorial how-to type deal on how I use soft pastels in my backgrounds. But first I need to finish coloring the image, so that's kind of what I plan to do today. Just to start out, if you're somebody who's interested in getting started with adult coloring, but it's not something that you've done yet, or if you know somebody who you think might be interested in adult coloring, but they haven't started yet, and you're just looking for ways to help them get started, chances are good that you're on YouTube right now looking for different ideas. You've seen the myriad supplies that we use. The colors that you'll find here across YouTube color with everything from Crayola pencils to Caran d'Ache pencils, from the cheapest you can buy at Walmart to the best, highest quality pencils in the world. And because of everything that you see when you're on YouTube kind of perusing and looking for things to color with, there's a very good chance that you might find yourself a little bit overwhelmed at this point. Like, well, I don't even know where to start now. I thought, when I was a kid, this was just coloring books and crayons, and now look what it's become. For the most part, guys, there's no reason why it shouldn't still just be coloring books and crayons, and that's the honest to goodness truth. There's no reason why coloring has to be overcomplicated. The longer you do it, the more you're going to realize what you do and don't like, as far as coloring is concerned. But for those who are just getting started, there's some basics that I want to discuss. All the lingo makes sense to me. All the lingo makes sense to a lot of the people who spend time in this community. We have taken the time to study and watch reviews and things like that. Somebody who's new to coloring doesn't know these things. In fact, if you spend a lot of time watching a bunch of YouTube videos, you might find yourself thinking that, okay, well, your only option is to go out and buy a set of 150 Prismacolor colored pencils and spend, $90 on them, and buy these coloring books from artists that cost about $30 a piece, and they have to be shipped over from another country. And the fact is, that's just not really how it works. So I'm here to tell you today that that's not the case at all. But on the flip side of that coin, running over to your local Dollar Tree to pick up the cheapest supplies you can find isn't a very good option either. And I'm going to discuss all that with you today. And like I said, there's some people who are likely going to disagree, but I'm going to do my very best to explain my reasoning while I discuss this. And hopefully, if you guys have questions, feel free to ask. If you disagree, feel free to say so. That's fine. So first and foremost, we're going to talk about the best types of supplies for beginners, some of my favorite ways to get actual good quality and sometimes even artist grade supplies for really cheap prices. And then at the very end of the video, if you stick around for the whole thing, I'm going to give you a list of products, my top ones, what I would recommend if you yourself or someone you know wants to get started with coloring for less than $20. And this is something I've put some thought into and I want to share it with you. So yeah, let's get started. First and foremost, let's discuss why the cheapest supplies you can find aren't the best choice, okay? So let's say that you're excited, you want to start coloring something right this very second. You have some options. You can go to Walmart, you can get your Crayolas, you can get your Prismacolors at Walmart, you can get, all kinds of budget-friendly stuff there. But if you're just getting started, even that might seem a little bit too much for you. A common solution to that is to run out to Dollar Tree, which is popular in a lot of different places, and go to Dollar Tree and look for their coloring books and look for their coloring supplies, their markers, their gel pens, their colored pencils, their glitters, their paints, all that kind of thing. For the most part, guys, the whole thing is you can pick up coloring books for $1 each. You can pick up markers for $1 each. You can get a basic set of gel pens that has like a black, a blue, a red, and a green for $1. You can find some other colors sometimes for $1 a piece, and you get 2 or 3 pens in those packs. And this does all seem like a really, really fantastic deal. It seems like, you know, oh look, it's only $1, so this is a fantastic option. But it's not sometimes. First and foremost, most of the Dollar Tree stores across the country don't have the really high quality coloring books. And the ones that do only have them for like a very limited amount of time. So what this means is that you're going to get your hopes up and you're going to run all the way over to Dollar Tree trying to find these nice books to color in, and all you're going to find are the ones that are printed on the equivalent of newsprint. And you don't want to buy these, guys. Even if you're just getting started, even if it's the first thing you've ever colored, I'm going to recommend against buying those books. The paper quality is terrible. No matter what medium you try to use on it, it's not going to work right, and from the very, very outset, you're going to feel incredibly discouraged by what's happening on that paper, and there's a good chance you're just not going to try again. And for those of you who disagree, I'm very sorry that you disagree. I know that everybody's a little bit different. Some of us can get the gist of something simply by going and buying something incredibly inexpensive, but like I said, at the end of the video, I'm going to go over a list of supplies that you can go out and get for less than $20, the whole entire setup, everything that you're going to need to have a good experience, and I'll show you why those Dollar Tree buys just really aren't necessary. Sometimes you're going to find some things like pens and markers and things, and I've bought them, guys. I've been there. I've bought pencils, markers, gel pens, stuff like that from Dollar Tree. The only thing that I have left out of all the things that I purchased when I started coloring in May, that's one of the first things I did, was went to Dollar Tree and bought a bunch of stuff. The only thing I have left is some metallic permanent markers that I bought. All the gel pens that I bought skipped and didn't work well. All the markers that I bought, like the water-based markers that come in sets of 10 or 15, they were dry before I even used them, and the ones I did get to use lasted for maybe a couple days. I threw them away before I even finished my first picture with them because they were just terrible. And let's be fair here, the stuff that they sell there is just not very good. You can go to the Dollar Tree, and it's exciting to go to somewhere like that because you look around and you see all these supplies and everything's $1 a piece, and you're like, oh my goodness, look at all this stuff that I can get. Look at all of this stuff. But all that stuff is probably going to cause you more frustration than anything. And if you went to the Dollar Tree to buy 10 things, what you could do instead is, instead of buying 10 things at Dollar Tree that are going to frustrate you, just hold on to that $10 and go somewhere else and buy one really good high quality thing that isn't going to frustrate you, that you know is going to work well for you. In short, guys, buying things just because they're cheap and just because you can get a really good price on them doesn't necessarily mean it's a good idea. It may be just $1, but if that product's junk, so to speak, then that's $1 that you've thrown away. And if you can save that $1 10 times, 20 times, instead of throwing it away on something that's really poor quality, then you're going to be able to get something far, far nicer in the long run. And like I said, guys, you're just getting started, so I'm not expecting that you're going to go out and get artist quality stuff. What I'm asking for is like a happy medium. That's my advice. I'm asking you to consider a happy medium. Not incredibly, ridiculously cheap, but at the same time, not expensive either. So let's talk about some things that you should remember when you're out shopping, whether you're a beginner or you're shopping for a beginner, or you're trying to upgrade your incredibly budget-friendly supplies to something a little more high quality. So the first thing to remember, my first tip, is to remember that you don't have to have artist grade supplies. You're going to see a lot of people here on ColorTube using things like Caran Pablo, Caran Luminance, the Faber Castell Polycolor pencil or Polychromos pencils. You know, none of this stuff is necessary, guys. You don't have to have any of this in order to produce pretty pages. They're nice, but they're not necessary if you're just getting started. So what I'm trying to say is let's say that you're just getting started with adult coloring and you go off to Walmart and you see a set of 24 Prismacolor pencils on the shelf. You know they're artist grade because you've seen us use them, you've seen us talk about them, your friends use them and talk about them. But why are you going to buy those if you've never colored a picture before? Why would you spend $16 on colored pencils if you don't even know whether or not you're going to enjoy coloring in the first place? And even if you do enjoy coloring, how do you know you're going to enjoy the colored pencils? You just There's no way that you could possibly know that if you've never colored anything before. So instead, my advice is to pass those up. Don't buy the Prismacolors yet. Go a little further down, pick up the 50 box of Crayolas. It's like $7 for 50 Crayola pencils. You're going to get a good range of color. You're going to get an opportunity to use a pretty decent quality product. I mean, Crayola is not artist grade by any means, but it's not a bad product either. In fact, as far as student grade products go, it's probably one of the best. So go ahead and pick that up. And then this way, if you decide that you don't like colored pencils or you just don't like coloring, you're only out $7. You're not out $16 that you spent on these artist grade pencils, and now you have nothing to do with them. And if they're Crayola pencils, you're not going to feel bad about giving them to your kids and saying, here you go, guys, use these for your school projects or whatever. You know, my kids take my pencils all the time, and you better believe they get the Crayolas and the Prayings and the whatnot. They don't get my good pencils. So that's just another bit of advice. If you're brand new and you don't know what to buy, don't go for the artist grade stuff right away. You're going to get a bigger selection for less money if you go with a high quality student brand like Crayola. Along those same lines, while you're out browsing for your supplies and you're looking for things, you're going to see some great big packs of Sharpie markers. Now, these aren't cheap either. Even the packs of like 16, 18, they get up to $20 sometimes. They have a pack of, I think right now, 36, and it's like $30 for that pack of markers. Everybody likes to put Sharpie in the cheap category. Everybody likes to say, oh, it's a Sharpie, so it's cheap. Well, that's not the case at all. Sharpies on average cost about $1 a piece when you buy them in packages like that, and that's the average that I found. Especially the colored Sharpies and the limited edition Sharpies, and you can find them on sale and get them cheaper, but on average they're about $1 a piece. Now, if you go to Amazon, you can find alcohol markers that were intended to be used for art for a whole lot cheaper. You can get a set of 40 Cali Art markers for 20 bucks. It's 50 cents a marker, half the price of a Sharpie. So another common misconception that I'm hoping that I can kind of set aside here is that Sharpie markers are not cheap markers. A lot of people like to make them out to be cheap markers, but they're not. And they're not intended for necessarily art either. You can color with them and you can have a great experience with them, but what you're going to find is that the Sharpies are so saturated in color, and most of them are so very dark, that you can't do any kind of layering or blending with them. For basic coloring, they're wonderful, but once you get to a point where you want to layer and blend and add shadows and things like that, unless you're willing to go and get a bottle of rubbing alcohol and some paint brushes and, you know, use some kind of in-depth techniques to do that, you're not going to be able to do that with Sharpies. It is possible. I'm not saying it's impossible for you to use your Sharpies and to get some blending and layering and things like that going on, but it's difficult, and you can do it more efficiently and less frustratingly with art markers that you can get cheaper on Amazon than Sharpies. So that's something else I just wanted to point out. Finally, when you're out shopping and you're on a budget, things that you need to keep in mind is that anytime you're buying art supplies, quality is better than quantity. It is not a good thing when you have a whole bunch of art supplies that you paid a little bit of nothing for, but they're all so bad that you don't want to use them. So it's best to have a small, meager, but decent selection of good quality art supplies than a really great big huge room full of bad quality stuff that's going to frustrate you when you sit down to use it. And unfortunately for many people, that's what's going to happen. So as you're out shopping and you're looking through all the things that are available to you, don't think about how much stuff you can get for your money. Think about the highest quality product that you can get for your money. With all this in mind, I do have a list of ways that I save money when I buy my supplies, and I'm going to be completely 100% honest with you guys. I have a lot of stuff. I have quite a bit of stuff. I've collected a lot of stuff since I started my coloring journey. Some of the stuff I purchased on my own. Some of the stuff was sent to me by companies and coloring book publishers and whatnot who wanted me to do reviews on their products or show them off on my channel, and I'll do it. Like I said, you guys are always going to get my unbiased opinion of things, but I've collected a lot of stuff in a very short period of time. If I'm going to spend my own money on it, though, I research everything. I never, ever, ever just impulse buy something. A coloring book I may impulse buy. If it's a really good price and I flip through it and I like it, I might buy it. Things like markers, colored pencils, gel pens, things of that nature, I will never just impulse buy. I will always, always, always do my research thoroughly to decide whether or not that's something I really want to spend my money on. I ask questions in coloring groups. I watch YouTube videos. I'm never going to buy something just because I see so-and-so that I happen to watch using it and that person really likes it. So if that person really likes it, then I'm really going to like it too. That's not how this works. If you're on a budget and you're seriously, really, truly on a budget, then it is absolutely vital for you to shop like you're on a budget. You can't save money and get the best possible deals if you buy things just because they happen to be on sale or because somebody that you saw on YouTube says, oh, well, it's the best. I love it. You can't save money that way, and you can't buy things for you that way. So that's not something that I advise doing. I have fallen into that wormhole. Oh, well, it's cheap, so I'm going to buy it. Oh, well, so-and-so has it, so I'm going to buy it. I need it too. I've got to have it. I found my way out of that. And you know, I'm happier for it. Yeah, the Prismacolors on Black Friday, they were $50 a set. But if you're not sure that you're even going to use them or like them, why bother? Why spend $50 on something that you don't know anything about? The Polychromos were cheap in the UK for a day or two. You could get the full set of Polychromos for less than $100 and have them shipped to the United States. And yeah, it was a bit of a wait, but for many people, it was a really good buy. But if you don't know the first thing about Polychromos and you don't know whether or not you're going to like them, are you really going to spend almost $100 on a set of pencils? It's just not the best practice, guys, and you need to put that, you know, that's something that you should consider through every point of your life, everything. If you're on a budget and you're adamant that you need to stick to a budget when it comes to coloring, buying things just because you hear the name a lot or because somebody else has them or because you think you need to have them to do a certain quality of work, that's just not a very good idea, and it's not going to help you stay on your budget. And at the very, very end of the day, and probably the most important thing, is it's not going to make you a happy colorist at the end of the day. You need to be buying products because you think you are going to like them, not because somebody else has them and not because they just happen to be cheap online that day. Those of us who are really and truly on a budget know that we have to be really picky about where we spend our money. So, you know, my first tip is know what you're buying. And that's just the basics. Know exactly what you're buying. Even if you're interested in going out and buying the 100 set of Crayolas, do some research. See what those pencils can do. Don't just go out and buy it because I said, hey, I like Crayolas for budget pencils. You know, even something like that. It's always better when you do your own research to see what you think you're going to like. So yeah, know what you're buying. Understand the differences between what you're about to buy and what else is available to you, and that kind of thing. That's my first tip. Second thing, Amazon is your friend, guys. I know a lot of people are kind of adverse to buying things online, and I can really understand why. However, I've never really had much of a really horrible issue with Amazon. I've had some problems with them with shipping and things of that nature, but I've never been completely ripped off on Amazon. So Amazon is your friend. You're going to find most things cheaper through Amazon than you would in any of your local craft supply stores. So, you know, definitely consider that as well. Let's see. Make sure when you're on Amazon too, guys, make sure that you are typing in lightning deals into the search bar so that you can see what's going on sale. And basically a lightning deal is a limited time, really, really awesome sale that only lasts for a few hours. So when you have the time, just go to Amazon, type in lightning deals, and see if any of the things that you've had your eye on happen to be on sale. If you see something there that you might be interested in, but you don't know much about it, get the name of the product, head on over to YouTube and watch some videos about it to see what other people are thinking of it. Don't take my word for it. Don't take just one person's word for it. Watch multiple videos. Watch multiple things to try to figure out what's happening with that particular product. Something else that you can look for while you're at, sorry, my camera's shaking. Something else you can look for while you are on Amazon is something called the warehouse deals. And basically, the warehouse deals are sales on items that are very slightly damaged, like maybe the tin has a dent in it or something that happened during shipping, or something that a customer got and wasn't what they thought it was, so they sent it back. I know lots and lots of people who have purchased perfectly good coloring books, sets of pencils, markers, gel pens, everything you can imagine through Amazon warehouse deals, and sometimes you can save like half. You can get stuff like half off if you do it that way. And again, when you go up into the search bar, just type warehouse deals on Amazon. It'll show you everything they have there. You can use the filters that are off to the left-hand side of the page to refine the search to the categories that you want to look for. And I do that maybe once a week. I'll just go browse through the different warehouse deals to see what they have. So that's another option too. Hobby Lobby, Joann's, and Michael's. Alright guys, these stores, all three of them are expensive. They are insanely expensive for the most part for you to just go in there and buy a set of pencils. So don't ever, in my advice, don't go into these places and buy much of anything unless you have their coupons. And coupons in this case are going to be your friends as well. Especially when it comes to colored pencils in these stores. They are ridiculously expensive. But I know Hobby Lobby gives you a 40% coupon that you can use every single day on one regular priced item. Michael's gives a 40 to 50% coupon that you can use on regular price items except coloring books. You can't use them on their coloring books, but you can at Hobby Lobby. So, if you have a Hobby Lobby nearby and you are interested in buying one of the coloring books that you keep seeing everybody on YouTube coloring in, like the Johanna Basford coloring books or the Darius Song coloring books, Hobby Lobby is going to be a good place to go and look. I just recently bought the Darius Song The Night Voyage coloring book there. I paid, I think, $8 and something for it because I used my coupon on it. I also got Erie's Romantic Country, the third tale, on sale at Hobby Lobby in their clearance aisle. Yes, that book was in the clearance aisle, and it was $5. And all because one of the little stitches that holds the book together had come loose. It didn't affect the way the book turns or works or anything, but I found that book in the clearance section and picked it up for $5. So, I mean, guys, all these places, they all have clearance sections. They all have clearance aisles. You can use your coupons. Figure out how to use their coupons, what you can use them on, and then make use of them the best that you possibly can. You can get some really, really good stuff. As far as colored pencils go, a lot of the time at places like Hobby Lobby and Michael's and whatnot, even if you use your 50% coupon or even if you use your 40% coupon, you're still going to get the sets of pencils cheaper on Amazon. And that's just how it is. It's unfortunate, but it's true. So in that case, before anybody goes out buying even a 12 set of artist grade colored pencils, I would urge you to purchase a few open stock pencils first, okay? So let's say that you currently have a box of Crayolas and you've been using those for, a couple months and you love them and you're ready to upgrade to something that's a little bit more higher quality, better pigmented, softer core, whatever it is that you're looking for. So you can take, let's say you have a Hobby Lobby nearby, right? So you can take your Hobby Lobby coupon, go into Hobby Lobby, and the Prismacolors at Hobby Lobby, I think, are $2.20 a piece, which is a lot more than they are other places. But you can use your 40% coupon on one pencil and walk out the door with it. Turn around and come back the next day, use your coupon on another pencil, walk out the door with it. Come back a third day, use your coupon on another pencil, turn around and walk out the door with it. At this point, you have 3 different colors. And you can incorporate these into your whatever set that you happen to be using at the time. Just swap out the colors, whatever color they happen to be closest for, and see how often you find yourself using those colors. Are you gravitating toward those colors because the quality of the pencil is so much higher and you really enjoy it? If that's the case, then you may be ready to consider investing in a set of those pencils. If you're going to buy a set of artist grade pencils, and this is the only time in this entire video I'm going to say something like this, you are going to want the full set. It's hard for me to say, yes, we're on a budget, so we need to watch our money, but you need to buy all 150 pencils. It's really hard for me to say that. But guys, let's be honest with ourselves. That's what's going to happen, okay? You go and buy a 24 set of Prismacolors, or you go and buy a 24 set of Polychromos because you had your open stock and you're in love, and so you're like, I need a set, so you go buy 24 and you get them home and you're loving them and you're like, man, I wish I had this whole big set. Well, now you're out however much money that you just spent on that 24 set and you could have put that toward the big set. See what I'm saying? So if you're really on a budget and you have to watch every single dollar that you're spending, it's better to skip the small sets. Get you a couple open stock just so you know that you really like that particular brand of pencils, but skip the small sets and save your money for the big sets. That's exactly what I am going to continue to recommend to everybody. Yeah, you can get a lot done with 24 pencils. I'm aware of that. 24 pencils, they can go a long way. You can mix and blend colors and whatnot, but you know, guys, it's just not the same. You're eventually going to end up kicking yourself for not getting the whole set anyway. So you might as well just get the whole set. Just save up and buy them. And it's going to take some of us longer than others. Trust me, I'm aware. My Polychromos were a gift, so I got lucky. They were a Christmas present from my boyfriend. My Prismacolors I had to save up to buy. I think it took me about 3 months to save up the money to buy my first set of Prismacolors, and that was only like $90. So, you know, guys, if you're on a budget, I totally understand. I've been there too. It may take you longer than 3 months to save up and buy the Prismacolors. It may take you 6 months to save up and buy the Polychromos. But it's worth it in the end. The day that you get them, you will be so happy that you did, if you know that's a pencil that you're really going to like. Some other places to check out, guys, are Blick. They have some awesome clearance sales in their stores, on their website. Hobby Lobby's clearance section. Don't ever underestimate Hobby Lobby's clearance section, guys. They have all kinds of cool stuff in there, and I've gotten a lot of my supplies out of the clearance section at Hobby Lobby. And I will continue to shop there. I will continue to look in their clearance aisles and find the things that I'm not going to buy it just because it's on clearance. But like I said, I knew I wanted Romantic Country, and I happened to find it in the clearance section, so I got lucky. So, and you can too. That's, an important thing. Don't forget about your local thrift stores, yard sales, and even your Facebook sale sites, guys. People buy art supplies all the time, or they find art supplies in their houses when they move, or, whatever, and they don't really care what the actual value of it is. They just know they don't need it anymore. So they'll sell it to you. There was a girl not too long ago who said she found a set of Prismacolor colored pencils at a yard sale. Not Prismacolor, Polychromos colored pencils. The full set of 120, very gently used at a yard sale for $20. $20, guys. So don't underestimate it. Go to yard sales. If you go to yard sales, ask about art supplies, ask for things like that. People do sell them. Not as much as they're going to try to sell you their old dishes and clothes they can't wear anymore, but, some places, some of these people do sell art supplies. So, it's always worth a shot. Alright, so let's sum everything up. I've been talking your faces off now for about half an hour, so let's sum everything up. At the end of the day, this whole thing, coloring, is supposed to be fun, alright? When you sit down to color, it's supposed to relieve your anxiety and not make more of it. So if you're trying to create beautiful blends and layers, and you're trying to learn new coloring techniques, but you're using horribly cheap supplies that were not designed to do such things, you're going to end up frustrated, and that's just how it is. Does it stink that you can't go out and spend $1 and get a really phenomenal art supply? Yeah, it kind of does. I wish that you could go out and spend $1 and get some really nice art supplies, but that's just not how things work. To each their own, though. I mean, if you are someone who isn't on a budget and you enjoy buying art supplies and collecting them, that's fine too. There are some people out there in YouTube land and, in the coloring groups and whatnot, who have more fun actually collecting the supplies than coloring. And if that's what it takes, guys, if that's what makes you happy and you get your joy from shopping and buying and trying art supplies, then by all means continue doing it. So basically what that just means is I'm talking to people who are legitimately on budgets here, who have very little, if any, money to spend at the end of the week on their art supplies. The goal is for you guys to take something out of this, whether you agree or you disagree with me. I hope you at least think about what I've said here today, really. So without further ado, I did promise you guys that at the end of the video I would go over my top list of supplies that you or someone you're buying gifts for would need to get started with coloring, frustration-free coloring for under $20. And I can make it happen. So here's how we're going to do that, right? The first thing you're going to need to do is find something to color. You're going to need coloring pages. There are myriad books out there, guys. There's I know people who personally have 250 coloring books, but you don't need anything like that to get started. In fact, you don't need a coloring book at all. You can go online and you can find artist websites, Selena Fennick, coloringbliss.com, Jennifer Stay. Lots and lots and lots of artists offer coloring pages that are absolutely 100% free for you to download and print. I would like to remind you guys to never, ever, ever download and print images directly from Pinterest or Google. These are often stolen, and the artist gets 0 credit for their work. So this is something to stay away from. If you go to an artist page and download their work that they are giving you, that is fine. If it's given to you directly by the artist, just make sure you credit that artist if you choose to share that work with anybody online. This way everybody knows where that image came from and they can go find it themselves if they choose. So instead of going out and buying coloring books, we're going to get you some coloring pages for the cost of paper. And that's it. You don't have to buy coloring books. You can find free coloring pages, and by the time you've colored 3 or 4 of those, you should know whether or not you're enjoying coloring, and at that point you can go out looking for books and use all the tips I gave you in this video today. Something to print your pages on. You know, paper can be expensive itself. You'll find a lot of people out there in YouTube land recommending paper that costs $16 for 200 pieces of paper, and I'm not going to do that. You can find Neenah cardstock. It's Neenah at Walmart for about $3.50. Alright, it's not the highest quality paper in the world, but it's definitely better than printer paper. And as far as coloring goes, it's a pretty good cardstock. It's a good variant between smooth and toothy. There are some pencils that are going to work better on different papers, but for a good all-around inexpensive paper, I think the Neenah, that's about $3.50, it's in a black and pink labeled package, is a good, it's a good option. It'll go right through your printer, you won't have any issues, and your pencils will work well. Alright, so now you have something to color, and you have something to print your pages on, but what if you don't have a printer? Okay, well, you can ask friends and family, go buy the paper, ask friends and family to print them for you, and as a last case, you know, scenario, save them to a CD or to a flash drive or something and take them to your local public library, and you can print them for about 10 cents a piece. So if you're printing 5 coloring pages, it's still only 50 cents. You could probably go dig that out of your couch cushions if you look. Okay, so now you have your something to color, and you have something to print on, and you have somebody who will print for you if you don't have a printer. So at this point, we are up to $3.50, and that's just the cost of the paper, assuming that you can find someone to print them for you, or you have a printer of your own. Okay, so the next thing you're going to need is something to color with. The Prismacolors at Walmart, they might look tempting. You might be thinking, ooh, look, I can get artist supplies for $16. Or the Sharpies, oh, $30 and I get 30 markers? That's not a bad deal. It kind of is, though, really, if you think about it. If you don't know whether or not coloring is even right for you at this point, or if you're buying somebody a gift and you don't know if they like coloring, don't go that route. Grab that $7 box of 50 Crayola pencils and grab a set of super tips for $5. Okay, that's it. So far you've got 50 Crayola pencils, that's $7. You've got, you know, however many super tips you can get for $5, and that's a total of $12. And then we're going to add on the $3.50 for the $4.50 left. You already have your coloring pages ready to go. You have something to color with ready to go, and you still got $4.50 left. Okay, so now we're going to talk about extras. The only other 2 things you're really going to need to make this work for you is a pencil sharpener and an eraser. A cheap sharpener is about $1. You don't have to spend more on a sharpener at this point. Anything is going to sharpen a Crayola pencil well. Even if you have like an old eyeliner sharpener hanging out in the back of your makeup drawer somewhere, that'll work. If you need to buy one, grab a cheapie for $1, and you know, that'll work long enough for you to decide whether or not you actually enjoy coloring. At this point, when we spend $1 on a sharpener, that brings us to a total of $16.50. We still have $3.50 we can spend. Now you're going to need an eraser. I recommend the white erasers as opposed to the pink erasers. I find the white ones colored pencil, or they erase colored pencil more cleanly than the pink ones do. Again, these are like between 50 cents and 75 cents a piece, so we'll say another $1. So now we're up to $17.50. We have everything we need. We have $2.50 left. At this point, you don't really need anything else. You have everything you need. You have the perfect little starter kit for coloring. You have a sharpener, an eraser, coloring pages, and 2 different mediums to color with. You have pencils and you have markers, all for less than $20. If you really, really, really want to buy something at Dollar Tree, here's what I'm going to recommend. Take that $22.50 you have left out of the original $20 bill, go buy yourself a couple containers. You can buy yourself a nice plastic tote with, not plastic tote, like a canvas tote with handles on it to carry all your stuff around in. You can buy yourself a clipboard if you want. You can buy yourself a plastic storage tub to hold all your pencils in, or a nice glass container that all your pencils can stand up in. So at this point, it's just extras. So you have that $2.50 left. You can run yourself over to Dollar Tree, pick up a couple extras, and complete your adult coloring kit for beginners, or if you're gifting the kit to someone else. So if you follow this advice that you've heard today, are you going to have the absolute best coloring supplies that money can buy? Absolutely not. Are you going to have good quality stuff that's going to give you or whoever's receiving these things as a gift an enjoyable experience that's going to help you or this other person decide whether or not coloring is a hobby you want to pursue? Yes, absolutely. And at this point, that should be the goal. First and foremost, is coloring a hobby you want to pursue? If it's not, you're only out $20. You're not out $100 and something for a set of pencils and 3 coloring books and, you know, expensive art markers and Sharpies. You're only out $20. If you don't like it, you don't like it. It's not for you. That's fine. I really hope this helps you guys out today. And for those of you who have been using student grade supplies and you're ready to take the plunge and go buy some artist grade stuff, I hope the tips that I gave you here today will really, really help. If you have any questions about any of the stores I mentioned or how the coupon policies work, ask in the comments downstairs. I don't have a Michael's near me. I've never been to a Michael's. I have been to Blick, and I have been to Hobby Lobby. I go to Hobby Lobby all the time, so I can absolutely answer questions for you about those. Again, guys, I hope this helps. I understand there are going to be people who don't agree with me, and that's fine. Everybody's a little bit different. But at the end of the day, I feel like if you are interested in getting started, there's no need to spend a lot of money. But please just don't go out and spend $5 and get a bunch of really bad stuff that's just going to frustrate you either, because that's not going to help the situation at all. Thank you very much for tuning into Simple Art for Adults. If you like this channel, please give it a big fat thumbs up and subscribe. If you hit the little bell next to the subscribe button, you'll receive a notification every single time I post a new video. If you look downstairs in the links, you're going to find links to everything I've used today, which is basically just the Twilight Garden coloring book and the 120 set of Faber Castell Polychromos. I'll put links to those in the description box. Down there you'll also find links to all my social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You'll find a link to my tip jar. You'll find a link to everything. It's all down there. Thank you so much for watching and spending time with me today. I do appreciate it. Happy coloring.